Well, looky there, it's the Bear Nation. Good morning, I'm Bear, founder and CEO of RefugeMedical.com and president of GrindstoneMinistries.com. But today we're going to do the Bear Brief. It's about 30 degrees and windy in lovely Idabel, Oklahoma. Formerly lovely Idabel, Oklahoma, recently smashed by some catastrophic tornadoes, or as our Commander-in-Chief Biden likes to say, hurricanes, because hurricanes have absolutely been known to utterly smash inland areas of the United States of America. Mayfield, Kentucky, anybody? Good morning to a confirmed actual factual and Chad. Brother Chad, shalom brother. Best hair in the Bear Nation? Probably. Bear Independent Brief, 14 November 22. The World Health Organization recently reported a 90% drop in global deaths from COVID-19 since February. But that's not stopping pharmaceutical giant Pfizer. Good morning, Joe Aquilino. What's up, my brother from another mother? Joe Aquilino is probably the best bassist I've ever met in my entire life, and has some sick flamenco guitar skills, and is a very, very good artist, and has a heart of gold. So, you know, everybody clap hand for Joe this morning. Back to the brief. Let's see. Even after raking in almost $100 billion of COVID-related profit, good morning, Billy Hill, the company, Pfizer, still has its sights set on the pocketbooks of doctors, pharmacists, and consumers. Recently, Pfizer announced that it will triple or quadruple the price of its COVID vaccine next year when it hits the commercial market, and has ramped up its marketing of the drug Paxlovid. The Seattle Times wrote this concerning the situation, quote, "The federal government is helping Pfizer with its marketing, urging people to get boosters targeting the Omicron variants, although the early data has been mixed on whether the shots work better than the earlier version. But even with a 66% drop in COVID vaccine sales in the past quarter, the company made about $4.4 billion in these last 3 months. Pfizer has a deep stream of cash to finance its future. COVID has been very good for business." End quote. Oh, so you mean government collusion? Collusion? We talked about this months ago, that all these extra vaccines, the inventory that these companies are holding, like Pfizer, nobody wants the jab, bro. Good morning, Michael Martinez. I appreciate you. Hey, in lieu of super chats today and probably for the remainder of the month, please go to grindstoneministries.com. I appreciate your $10. YouTube takes 30% of that money. Go to grindstoneministries.com, please and thank you. If everybody on this stream this morning donated $10, we would be that much closer to getting a house built for that single mom with 2 kids and 2 jobs who lost everything. Her house was broken in half by the storm. The storm ripped the appliances out of her house, tore the roof off, and was in the process of lifting her 9-year-old child, her daughter, up off the bed, at which point the child cried out to God and asked for a favor, and was literally miraculously dropped onto the bed, even though the fridge, the washer, the dryer, the dishwasher were all ripped out of the house and thrown about the county. So we're in the process of helping her put her life back together again, and we're raising funds for that house. So $10, grindstoneministries.com. We appreciate you greatly. Back to the brief. So this extra inventory of all these jabs that nobody wants have been sold to the government. So the government very likely is going to start a program to entice you to, do the thing and the other thing and some of those other things. Nobody wants it. Nobody's interested. Good morning, Tactically Torah. Shalom, brother. The government involvement boosting drug company revenues has not stopped, and in many cases, requested involvement for defending the people has been met with silence. Yeah, our representatives, right? Red wave! How's that going, by the way? Just last Thursday, Justice Sonia Sotomayor rejected an emergency appeal from New Yorkers for Religious Liberty to block New York City's vaccination requirement for public sector workers. Plaintiffs complain that the city still denies most religious exemptions, forcing firefighters, teachers, and police officers to choose between their beliefs and their livelihoods. For context, the private sector mandate was ended on the 20th of September. Currently, the case continues to run through the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, so the final decision could take months. This comes after the High Court has failed to get involved in several similar lawsuits, one involving healthcare workers in Maine, multiple challenges in New York City, and one involving a group of university students in Indiana. We've talked before about this. We're going to continue to talk about this at this channel. Exercise your no muscle. What you tolerate, they will embrace. Whether this is your kids, your school board, or your government, what you tolerate, they will embrace. Get good at saying no. Nope, not going to do that. Yeah, but you have to. Nope, no I don't. Yeah, but what happens if you don't? I live a long, healthy, productive life full of freedom and liberty. That sounds terrible. But they're going to come and take you away and put you in the internment camps. I don't think they are. I don't think they are. I mean, let's force the issue. I'm in the Idabel, Oklahoma Walmart parking lot. Come get me. See what I mean? Yeah, but the men with guns will come and put you in a box. No, I don't think they will. What about the 87,000 IRS agents? Nerds with guns? Nah. Morning, Sergeant O'Reilly. So, get good at saying no. If more people had been more adamant about no early on, we wouldn't be in this position anymore. The world would still be a little screwed, but it wouldn't be screwed to the level that it is now because so many people abdicated the throne of their responsibility. They forgot that you were guaranteed to be a nation of kings and priests if you had simply stepped into that responsibility and bore that responsibility with pride, rather than farming out that responsibility to whichever politician makes you feel the warmest and fuzziest on the inside. Shalom, Alex Giles. Good morning, brother. Another badass brother. Clap hand for the Giles. So many awesome people in the chat this morning. I appreciate y'all. As a related update, China has made some surprise announcements that it will be easing some of its COVID-related measures, even as recorded case numbers continue to soar. Markets welcome the news as China's draconian policies have hampered industry and related global supply chains. Things will by no means return to normal just yet, but even the slight easing has been met with enthusiastic approval. Goldman Sachs, however, noted that the change would be, quote, marginal in terms of economic impact, end quote, and that it was likely that a full exit from restrictive policies wouldn't be seen until sometime next year. Good morning, Brother Dudley. All the badasses. That's the brief for this morning. Implications for you. China easing COVID restrictions is not going to instantly ramp up China production of all the things that it takes, to fill buildings like this. The Walmart, right? Oh, chainsaws, anybody? By the way, look at these behemoths. Look at these behemoths right here. This is the reason one of my arms is 3 inches longer than the other, right here. But that's what it takes to cut down these massive trees out here. Oofda. So China all of a sudden deciding, nope, we cannot economically afford to shut down our nation every time somebody gets a cold. That has potential upside benefits for us, but it's not going to happen overnight. And remember, lots and lots and lots of companies have realized that it's no longer economically viable to continue to produce stuff in China, so they've been nearshoring stuff out of China to Vietnam, Philippines, Taiwan, Laos, Cambodia, and Mexico. The reason that so much production has remained in China over the last 20 years is because of the sunk costs to build the manufacturing complexes that are there, and let's be frank, slave labor. So just remember that. You got a pretty good chance every time you buy something that was made in China that you personally are directly contributing to, say, slave labor. They have very cheap energy because they have very, very, very dirty coal plants there. They have very cheap labor because they don't pay those people. They just feed them enough food so that they don't die in many cases. And the sunk costs of building the manufacturing complexes have already been accomplished. So that's why the world continues to make things in China and has for the last couple of decades. However, due to the global flu, lots of companies have been pulling out of China and relocating to other areas, aka nearshoring. So the likely economic resurgence of China is going to be limited at best, says me. There's been a lot of talk for a long time, myself included at some points, about the potential rise of China as an actual adversary to the United States on the world stage. I don't think they have the horsepower. I just don't think they have the horsepower. I think that COVID has literally, for them, been terrible. Unlike the rest of the developed world where it was an inconvenience. It's kind of bad. Shalom, Mark Chase. What's up, bro? In China, it was really bad. And I don't think they're just going to bounce back from that overnight. They also, their economy's fixing to do a little collapse. Evergrande, anybody. So it's something to continue to keep your eye on. But as always, this is just information to keep you informed so you can make the best decisions throughout your day on your preparedness journey and life in general. No reason to get all spun up to lose your ever-loving mind, because the likelihood that global developments are going to directly impact your life negatively is much lower than local impacts directing or impacting your life negatively, right? Like, for example, you might get schwacked by a tornado, and then what do? So I would encourage you to focus on the micro today. What can you do in your life to be better prepared today? Rather than, oh my gosh, China, Pfizer, COVID, Yeah, dude, that stuff is always there. There's always a Chris from City Prepping put out a video, I think yesterday, that I was listening to on the way in this morning, talking about, my words, not his, the increased awareness of all of the shenanigans that happen globally now due to the constant news cycle and the infinite scroll on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, the interwebs, right? We are way more aware of everything that's going wrong everywhere in the world all the time, and therefore that can absolutely overwhelm us as people with a preparedness mindset to look at all the things that are going terribly wrong, instead of perhaps focusing on all the things that are going miraculously right, like the fact that a tornado wrecked your house but didn't suck your 9-year-old through the roof, right? So focus on the good stuff, do the good stuff, do the good works, be the hands and feet. Okay? Okay, bear. Now, listen, if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe, ring the little bell icon. If you're not new here, you know what to do. Share the show with somebody you love. Okay? Okay. Huge shout out to the patrons. Appreciate you. You're the economic engine of the Bear Nation. Link in every video and live stream. Lots of exclusive content over at Patreon that never sees the light of the day here on YouTube. So go check that out. Couldn't do this show without you. RefugeMedical.com has been doing a badass sale every day, 20% off of a particular item. I've been posting that to Patreon every day because, frankly, it's been selling out. Today, all of the swag is on sale. The stickers, the patches, the t-shirts, the hats, the hoodies at RefugeMedical.com. And as always, you can use promo code BearNation for free shipping on everything in the store at RefugeMedical.com. Handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever first aid kits that actually save people's lives. Yeah, and always FSA and HSA eligible. Now, it's that time of year, right? People are like, I got to get little Johnny a gift for Xmas. Okay, well, how about you give the gift of life, right? Like a first aid kit that will actually save somebody's life. It's not a bunch of cheap Chinesian bullshit that might work, might not work. Tourniquets that will fail when you need them. Savage Hunter said the clinic series has been amazing on Patreon. Thank you, Savage. Yeah, I've thus far recorded 6 parts on the SHTF clinic. What you need, how to set it up, you know, what your consumables look like, what your medical team should look like, what your scope of practice is, what your references are, etc. All that's on Patreon. So I'm glad you're liking that, Savage. Refuge Training has a metric butt ton of new dates up in the store. So you should go to refugetraining.com. If you don't understand how to not die, if you need to learn the fine art of how to not die, there are lots and lots and lots of classes up. There's probably 20, 30 classes in the store right now at refugetraining.com. So for all of y'all who are like, Bear, are you going to do a class in insert random city here? please go check the store, refugetraining.com. And as always, Grindstone Ministries, we'd be dead in the water without y'all. Was God of the Old Testament the devil? Hell no, Pharaoh man, you got to do some more reading. A lot more reading. Yahuwah your Elohim, the Lord your God, the Yod-He-Vav-He, I am that I am, is in no way the devil. Not even close. He is a loving and benevolent, merciful father who loves his kiddos and wants the absolute best for them and requires one thing and one thing only: obedience to the best of your broken ability. Deuteronomy 28, if you diligently obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim, then you will be blessed. And believe me, his word will not return to him void. He is not in the habit of breaking promises. In fact, he is in the habit of keeping them for generation after generation, millennia after millennia. Okay? So, speaking of promises that he has kept, he has been an absolute blessing and empowerment to Grindstone Ministries through y'all. We literally couldn't do this. We are alone. We are the only NGO with boots on the ground in Idabel, Oklahoma. There is no FEMA. There's no state. There's no Choctaw Nation. There is none of that. There's us. And I'll tell you what, it's pretty overwhelming some days. Because it's us. Yet and still, y'all continue to pour into us. Yet and still, the Father continues to send people to help us on this mission. Yet and still, we're still finding people every day who need help because their lives have been destroyed by these tornadoes here. We couldn't do it without y'all. State Farm. No. No. Nope. Ain't nobody here but us, boots on the ground. That's right, Parker Wood, not you, God. That's right. 100% the Father. But the Father looks for willing participants to accomplish his will, and in the process of doing his will, you will be blessed. So, thank you for pouring into grindstoneministries.com. Shalom, KLM. If you'd like to come on deployment with us, come be the hands and feet, we need you, go to grindstoneministries.com. If you have any questions, admin@grindstoneministries.com. If you'd like to donate to help buy that single mom a house, grindstoneministries.com. We appreciate y'all more than words can convey. The sun is coming up, and I've got to get busy putting what used to be a house into a dump truck so we can get it off these people's property so they can get on with their life. And we've got a bunch of other stuff to do today. So please continue to keep us in your prayers, and continue to keep this community and these people in your prayers as well. Y'all have a blessed day, all right? Shalom.